Good morning, everybody. Today is the 19th day in the month of July 2022. My name is Heritage Adisa, Markets Analyst at HFM Nigeria. And as always, we check through the markets, find out what the overall sentiment is, if it provides opportunities, and then how we can take advantage of it. But please, like always, do remember that this is just a communication material. Nothing in this communication contains or should be considered as investment advice or investment recommendation. Users acknowledge that investment in FX and CFD products is characterized by a certain degree of uncertainty. That any investment of this nature involves a high level of risk for which users are solely responsible and liable. What we have this morning in terms of the overall market environment is a more mixed start. When you look at how equities are trading, how commodities are trading, how bond yields are trading, you're seeing a mostly flat, mostly mixed, lackluster environment. But one of the biggest drivers so far today is recent reports that the ECB may consider or will debate between a 25 basis point hike or a 50 basis point hike in their meeting on Thursday, and that's been the major catalyst. But before going into that in more detail, I mentioned this, earlier. I said our markets price in the bigger rate hike for the ECB. Now, before now, markets were expecting the European Central Bank to hike rates by only 25 basis points, which has been the major theme, the major commentary, the major firm stance from the bank over the last, couple of sessions, right? Well, now, on the back of that, it wasn't going to have so much of a bigger impact. But now that they're pricing in the bigger one, now there's a chance for a 50 basis point hike or even more, which is actually, if you consider, how inflation has been going up, it's not going to be a big surprise if they come out hiking by that. Now, that's now one that should call a bigger attention to us as well. Now, I said, after the sell-off into the close of yesterday's session, yesterday we had equity starting higher, pushing up, but later during the close, we had plunged to the downside, led by US equities after reports that Apple is planning to slow hiring and spending. Now, that clearly is not good for Apple. It shows the overall, business environment. And then the fact that we're even in earnings seasons, it could also, if Apple, that is a major company in the world that produces products that is very essential to daily life and living, is also, feeling this brunt in the overall economic environment, how much more the companies, right? And it clearly, puts some dour sentiment around, equities generally. And then we had equities push lower, right, into the close of yesterday. But so far today, we are seeing equities just trading basically flat. You look at US 100, it's basically unchanged, just below 13,500. The general equity space mostly flat, right? And that gives you a picture of where sentiment is trading right now. You look at the oil space as well, mostly flat, even though US oil gap lower below $100 per barrel, but it's trading flat as well. So far today, same story with the UK oil. Generally, commodities are, mixed, some up, some down, margins are small, right? You look at bond yields as well. You look at even measures of volatility. For example, the VIX is trading flat. Bond yields are mostly mixed all over the place, right? So all of that just points to a more mixed overall sentiment in markets, right? Earlier today we had the meeting minutes from the RBA, where basically just stuck to their guns, still sticking to the hiking circle, still committed to dragging inflation down, expecting inflation to come back within targets 3% in 2023. Well, guess we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But that helped the AUD up a bit, just a tiny nod higher. NZD is also strong today. We're also seeing that as well play out. Now, the reports that came out from Reuters earlier today that excuse me, that ECB policymakers, will debate whether to hike interest rates by 25 basis points or 50 basis points in a meeting on Thursday, right, has pushed in some solid strength into the euro. We've seen the euro jump across board by even quite a margin already. Sitting at the top of the majors, and then you have AUD and NZD not far behind. And then on the other hand, dollar remains at the bottom of the majors. Well, I think we're still feeling some of the brunt of markets pricing out the 100 basis points expectations for a hike back to 75 basis points. So clearly there's that to also look out for. And then the CAD and pounds are also somewhere at the bottom there, but with oil prices trading flat, right, we just want to just be more cautious, right, with this. Looking to PS strength and weakness, Euro US is up almost 1% already today. USD Euro card is up almost 1% today already. Even pound NZ is also down by quite a margin. Now, this is key to know. You see, the calmer tones and equities, coupled by the mixed commodities and yields, put sentiment in a tight spot right now. So put it at the back of our minds whilst trying to still pair strength versus weakness, right? But clearly watch out for key themes, especially the ECB right now, as well as Europe energy situation heading into Thursday. The calendar is basically light. We don't really have, so much on schedule, right? Governor Bailey's on the wires, as well as even Brainerd from the Fed also on the wires as well. Now, quickly looking at equities. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Basically, not going anywhere, flat for today, and that just shows you, the kind of sentiment that we have, heading into this session. Just staying below this key 38,550, round number. Yesterday we started grinding higher, but then on the back of the Apple news, Apple looking to slow hiring and even spending, that clearly pushed, equities down. Also for today, we're trading very, very flat. And then it's the same story across the other major US equity, futures, right? Even the other houses really on the JPN as well, we are mostly flat. You look at the FTSE, mostly flat. You got Dow Jones, mostly flat. And that just gives you a picture of where we are trading right now when it comes to equities. And with equities trading flat, it means sentiment is mostly, indecisive. And then you want to also be more cautious with that. The dollar index is heading low as well, in line with dollar weakness and even euro strength. So that's not so much of a surprise. Let me get this out of my screen. All right. Right now, the next key area of support here would come in around this key 106.10, right? Right now, we are struggling around this previous resistance here. So just to note these key areas where we're currently trading at. Apart from this, the VIX as well is trading flat as well, in line with the mixed equities. Oil prices, US oil, I talked about gap lower heavily, right, at the start of today, right, back below $100 per barrel and has remained just flat amongst that level. You look at UK oil as well, also flat in that space. That just gives you a picture of where the asset classes really are right now. So I think we're just going to latch onto the trends that we're seeing in the euro for the time being. Now, for the euro, it's important to also note that, there's still a lot of worries. There's still a lot of strain in the European economy. I think that even if the ECB hikes by 50 basis points, really, once market price that in, I'm not seeing so much, you know, upside being embedded. I feel like there's still so much weakness in the system, drilled in the system, talking about Italy, talking about Germany, talking about Russia, talking about the whole energy, worries, the whole recession coming in. And when other major central banks are already hitting 2%, 2.5% interest rate already, the ECB will just be getting to, 0.5. So the interest rate differential is still very much clear and evident. So I feel like I'm still looking for upside, like looking for higher levels to sell the euro from, but I have to be careful and not doing that in the environment that we have right now. Now, yesterday we talked about looking for downside in the euro against the dollar, downside again for the euro against there's one other pair I'm trying to remember now on the radio show yesterday. So we're going to be more patient for Thursday, wait for the ECB meeting, wait for the energy, the Nord Stream pipeline to see if it will be reopened by Russia, and then we'll have to see how that plays out from there. But until then, right now we are seeing dollars, euro strength against CAD, for example. CAD is one of the weakest currencies so far today, right? And then we're seeing it pushed massively higher as well already in today's session. Open above this range that we had coming from Friday, basically mid Thursday last week. Right now we've pushed higher by quite a margin already smashed the ATR. Now, if I was going to look at this, right now we're trading into resistance, or we're trading at resistance right now, right? So you clearly don't want to be buying into resistance levels like this. Now, oil prices trading a bit more, flat, right? It's a bit tricky, but if I was going to look at this, I would really like to see, a pullback. Yes, it's broken above this key round number 1.325. It's retested it. It could continue higher, but because of where we're currently trading at right now, in terms of number of pips movement already today, it's a bit tricky to try and, look out for, look for something in the middle of that, right? So I'll prefer a deeper pullback before looking to engage this back to the upside. Now for Euro USD, now, like I said, I'm still a big fan of trying to sell this pair, not in today's session, clearly, because of the current strength in the euro, but I'm looking out for better opportunities, better reasons, to sell the euro from. Now, looking at where we are trading right now, we're currently trading at previous resistance. It's moved up already today, but 1 to 3 pips already today's session already. And then that's already smashing the ATR in today's session already, right? I personally would prefer to see further downside later on, but so far in today's session, if you can get a rotation back towards yesterday's highs, in line with the current environment, you could expect further upside from this, going forward. Now you can look at there's another one, Euro JPY, also solid pushes to the upside already, broken above yesterday's highs. Rotation back towards that level R1 or even the skill round number around 140.5 could be interesting to look for further upside. Just an on and on and on like that, looking to PS strength versus weakness, right? But don't forget, like I said, the overall environment and sentiment is still a lot tricky. So I'm still being more patient, being more, cautious and trying to jump into anything new, in the day ahead. On the calendar today is mostly a light one. Yes, we have a couple of data points, but not none so important for today, Tuesday. I think the major ones would just be Bank of England Governor Bailey on the wires. That would be interesting to say. And then Brennan as well, scheduled on the wires as well. But apart from that, is a light one. Euro is strong right now because markets are pricing a bigger rate hike for the ECB. The US is still weak right now. The euro, the card, and the pounds are also a bit weaker as well in today's session. And we're going to be paying attention to all of this, heading into the day ahead. So that's it for now. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I would always do our best to help. Thank you, and do enjoy the rest of the trading session. Bye for now.